People wish upon stars. That's like a little ritual, right? Why do they do that? Well, and what exactly is a star? That's another question, because there are stars that shine in the heavens, and there are people who are stars. And so, why are people stars? Well, they're usually famous people, right? They're people who attract a lot of attention. And maybe they're people who have a lot of talent. That's another possibility. Maybe they're models for emulation. That's what being a star means. That's why People magazine is full of stars. They're like heroes brought to earth, and of course you know nothing about them. All you know is their public persona, and of course they're usually very attractive, and so that allows you to project upon them all the things that would go along with ideal humanity. And so they're stars. But still, why stars? Well, stars beckon in the darkness, right? And they're otherworldly. They're not of this earth. And I mean that technically, but I also mean it phenomenologically. I mean it as an element of human experience. So most of you are urban, and so you've not had the experience perhaps of the full night sky, and that's really too bad, because the full night sky is one of those experiences that actually induces awe naturally, and no wonder. You look up there and there's just stars everywhere, right? You're looking at the edge of the galaxy. That's the Milky Way, right? It's like, wow, there's the edge of the galaxy, and there's just so many of them, and it's such an expanse. You're looking into infinity. You're looking into the unknown. You're looking beyond yourself, that's for sure. And that produces a sense of awe in people, like looking at the Grand Canyon or something like that. And you're looking at something that transcends yourself. But that feeling of awe, that seems to be something that's a natural part of our response. You might feel awe when you meet someone that you regard as particularly admirable as well, because you feel that there's something transcendent about them. So here's an interesting thing to think about. There are people you admire, and there are people that you don't admire. And that's a clue, right? That's a clue as to your value system. And it might be not really something you can even put your finger on. It's like you find this person captivating, you find this person admirable. And it's as if there's something inside of you that's looking for what's admirable. And that person who's admirable has a faculty, some faculty, that you would like to have for yourself. And so they're a model for emulation. And that's part of how people develop, like little kids often develop little hero crushes on older kids, not that much older, but sort of the person that's sort of just within their grasp, and then they follow them around and imitate them, and so they're imitating what they find admirable.